Right, I've been away for, some time, and I do apologise for that, but I am back, and what I've got here is, again, between Jonesy and Chrome. Both playing Zerg. Let's zoom out a little bit. Both playing Zerg, so I've got Chrome down here in the bottom right of... Oh, guess what? It's Death Aura. You guys doing this just to wind me up. And up in the top right, it's Jonesy. Both players opening very standard, sending the Overlord across the map, which is just what you do. And just building drones for the time being. So nice to see no kind of weird cheese or anything coming out here. What I generally expect, both of these players have built a second Overlord. Both of these players continuing to drone up. It's a gas from Chrome, which typically means you're going to go gas, pull, and get that quicker upgrade. The hatchery, however, that does mean the hatchery is going to be a little bit earlier for Jonesy. Sometimes people, they look at Zerg and they think, oh, you've gone Expo first. That kind of seems risky, but it's kind of not. Bear in mind, as a Zerg player, all of your units come from hatcheries. So, the sooner this hatchery's up, that rapidly increases your ability to make Zerglings, for example. So, if you are pushed by somebody with a slightly quicker pull than you, you might initially take a bit of damage, but you can ultimately overpower them because you have twice as much Zergling production capacity as they have. And larvae become a premium. You've also got twice the worker production capacity. So there will be a time frame here, a not insignificant amount of time when this hatchery's finished and this one isn't, where Jonesy's going to have some additional larvae, and that might, that time difference might translate to only 3 or 4 extra larvae, but that's 3 or 4 workers that Jonesy's got that his opponent doesn't. That's 3 or 4 sets of Zerglings, so potentially 6 lings that Jonesy can build that Chrome can't. So these things can be decisive, these minor fractions. On the other hand, Chrome is presumably going to have the faster speed, although with that said, speed isn't in production. What has Chrome spent his gas on? I don't quite get it. Has he already got... No, he hasn't. What did he spend his gas on? Maybe Chrome built the gas but then forgot to transfer the workers. Now this, Jonesy's got to be quick here. I don't know if he's pulled that Overlord back in time. I think he's going to lose this Overlord, and that is a problem. He is going to lose this Overlord. Needed to escape directly this way, and needed to do it sooner. Came too deep onto the creep, and as a result the Queen has got that and looks supply blocked. So that's a real frustration. What do you do about that if you're in Jonesy's position? I mean, obviously, yeah, you start an Overlord, but it does mean, look, you can't instantly spend this money. What I personally would do is instantly drop a third, just grab a worker and spend that money on a hatchery, because with that money building up, it's impossible for you to spend it until you're no longer supply blocked, and even when the Overlord comes out, you're not going to have enough larvae to burn that money. So personally, if I lose the Overlord like that, my kind of instant response to that is just drop another hatchery. Now with the 2 queens coming up here, Chrome will likely lose this Overlord, although the queens are not actually going to attack that, and it is going to get away. I thought for a moment there both queens were going to be positioned up on the high ground here and able to hit this Overlord, and you can see by the amount of damage it's taken from one. Had that been the case, the 2 queens would have got it, but this one's going to get away. Now lings running past each other in the middle of the map. Oh my god. Let's have a quick look at the units tab, and you can see that there are substantially more lings for Chrome than there are for Jonesy. Chrome with speed just about to finish up. So is Jonesy's actually going to pull back home? He's lost both the queens, and that hurts a lot. The Roach Warren is building. Now, in general, roaches are better than lings. Roaches kill lings very effectively. Jonesy, you need to get these guys involved. Numbers wise, it's pretty close. Chrome still with the advantage, and Jonesy is building lings. Now, more lings are going to come out. and they are going to finally clean this up. I don't think there's enough left here for Chrome to continue this pressure with the additional zerglings coming out. As soon as there are roaches on the map though, that's just going to change everything. Jonesy cannot build roaches, and that's what he should be doing. I don't know why he's choosing to continue with lings, because roaches just kill lings. It's as simple as that. Over on the other side of the map, there is no roach warren here for Chrome. So, if Jonesy transitions to these roaches, he's got this sorted, because lings against roaches is just, it's such an inefficient trade, it's painful. Roaches with that armor just mean that, yes, you can kill roaches with lings if you've got sufficient number, but it is honestly a bit painful, and you'd rather not be trying that if you can avoid it. So I'm going to ignore those outside lings. What would be nice to do here is focus on the queen if you can, because that really reduces the number of larvae that runs back at the last minute. I don't know about that decision making. I think he should have stayed on the queen. Look at the damage he's done to it. It was down to 35 health. He would have got the queen. He would have lost the lings. He lost the lings anyway. And rather than sniping the queen, didn't really get much for it. So roach warren and benling nest coming down here. In general, when you're playing Zerg, benlings are the response to other lings. You build your benlings. One benling can take out an awful lot of lings, but benlings are not efficient against roaches. With the armor, the splash damage doesn't really kill the roaches. So yeah, both players continuing to build enough zerglings to keep pressure on, but what they have to be careful to do is to continue to drone up as well. Now Chrome has got the hatchery advantage pretty clearly here. That's going to get nibbled. He's got the hatchery advantage, but he is not building workers at this time. So trading zerglings here with the queen's help, these lings should be able to see the other ones off, especially if you let the hatchery tank a little bit. A little bit of indecision there, maybe trying to snipe some workers, then changing his mind. Runs out again. The bentley nest is finished up, and I think I'd like to have seen Chrome actually keep these out of sight and turn a few into benlings to send in, because like 2 benlings with that would have just annihilated Jonesy's lings, and then these lings could have gone to town on the queen and indeed the workers. It's Chrome that actually gets into roach production first here though, although Jonesy has got this one lonely roach parked out the front, but that isn't going to help much. This is actually pretty tight, a reasonable amount of back and forth. Jonesy lacking on gas here, and I'm not sure why that is. There's no gases have been built down here, and there's only one in the main. Well, that would explain it for sure. Chrome meanwhile starting to build and with the 2 saturated here. So another big ling run by, 2 queens out this time to help defend with the roach here, the lings. This is all good. Hydras, if you can avoid it, you don't really want to be fighting lings with hydras. They do that big damage, but they're pretty pricey and they're pretty squishy, and the lings will churn through them. Benlings are really quite good against hydras, especially if you have got the speed upgrade, which I believe is being that's the roach speed upgrade, sorry. So everything here apart from the roach is squishy to these benlings. If Chrome just dives in now, he can get an awful lot done here. I don't think Jonesy can see this stuff. It's just out of sight range but the overseer is going to come down now and see it. So these benlings just make such a big difference here. If he sends the bens up first, the first one's probably going to get sniped, but the other 3 should get in here and do damage, and I think that's what we're about to see. How are they not attacking each other? What's happening here? What? Okay, so thinking about it, waiting for these zergling reinforcements, but just needs to get stuck in, get those bennies into the heart of this. And I don't know if that was focus fire on behalf of Jonesy. He was doing the right things there. He was pulling back to avoid the bends, but that went extremely, I'm going to have to see that again. That went extremely well for Jonesy. Much better than I was expecting. I was expecting these bendings to get some good connections, and in the end they didn't. So I'm going to slow this down and just try and get a handle on exactly what happened there, because I know it's only 4 bendings, but the splash damage they do is phenomenal, and there aren't really upgrades here. There are not. So you know, the right thing to do is to focus fire the bin lanes. I have a sneaking system. That is exactly what Jonesy's doing. I'm impressed. Very nice indeed. Focus fire with the Hydras onto the bin lanes. The Hydras have got good range, and so you can pull back and you can snipe those bin lanes before they get anywhere near you. That was very well done. Harder to do than that looked, to actually pull back, snipe a bin lane, pull back and snipe a bin lane. So well done there. Now, this small number of roaches just shouldn't be here. Chrome knows that there is, you know, what's waiting for them up here. Now that they're surrounded with the lings, they can't run. So those roaches, I think, a miss rally. But, you know, Chrome is in good shape. Interesting location for the lair. Not sure about that. But anyway, you know, I prefer it back here where it's harder to snipe. Now, both of these players, as we can see, have kind of stopped sort of droning. You know, here we are close to the 10 minutes mark, and it's only 28 and 38 workers, which is not great, I'll be honest. So both of them have very much taken their finger off the button in that regard, but at the same time I am enjoying the back and forth that we're seeing here. This is kind of what StarCraft is about. You know, in general, if you watch a pro game, it's non-stop action. They're always up in each other's faces, trying to harass, trying to attack, poking here, seeing if they can snipe a base, seeing if they can kill some important units, backing off, regrouping. That's what StarCraft's about, not sort of sitting back and playing SimCity until you've got a big army and A-clicking. So roaches are pretty tough, and Benlings don't trade well against them, but I think Jonesy's got the numbers here to be able to push through this, especially with the damage output from the Hydras in the back. We can see the army supply for Chrome actually falling pretty rapidly there. And it looks like I just don't think he can build enough to see this off. Yeah, there's lings in production. You know, that's a painful sign at this stage when this army's up in your face and you're trying to build lings against it. You know, these roaches and hydras, with the overwhelming number of lings that are already here, it's just not going to happen. And Jonesy takes it. Yeah, something just fell over in my room there. I'm not entirely sure what that was, but anyway. Yeah, there we go. If I just briefly return to the game, you know, a lot of money and a lot of gas in the bank for Chrome. So yeah, you know, what I liked was how quickly he got up onto 3 bases. That was really encouraging, but he didn't back that up with that sort of continuous production you need to see. When you're playing Zerg, you know, don't be afraid to drop a hatchery right here. I'm not suggesting you drop an Autumnu hatch and do that first, but you know, if you glance down, if you glance up in the top right and you realize you've just got all the minerals in the world, it can be hard to spend them. So, you know, don't be afraid to just drop it. It's called a macro hatch, where you just drop a hatchery here, and its only purpose is to produce extra larvae, so that you can just have all your hatcheries hotkeyed, and so that you can just go right ahead and hold down the Z button and just turn minerals into lings that you can then, you know, you can just shift click them into here and try and snipe a base, or into here. I know there isn't a base here, but it's the sort of thing you would try. You know, don't give them your attention, those lings. They are a mineral dump, so you're just saying, oh my goodness, look at all the minerals I've got. Why don't I drop a macro hatch, and once that hatch is done, with the queen spitting on it, I'll find I'm larva rich, I'm mineral rich. I can just do a round of lings and suicide them in and hope to trade them out for a hatchery. Those types of things are cool maneuvers. So, you know, always bear in mind, just like I would say to a Tarian or a Protoss, if you find your minerals and gas are creeping up, you need to build more production facilities, build more barracks, build more gateways. In the case of a Zerg, build more hatcheries. And if you don't feel confident to build them on location, again, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Even if you don't want to saturate this base yet, even if you don't need the income, have it, just build the base, because why not? And that's extra larvae, you know, go ahead and build one over here. And that does mean that when these start to mine out, you're ready. You can just transfer those workers as you need to. Anyway, GG, good game, I enjoyed that one.